Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Taste Media Group Intelligence Series. Today we're talking about marketing and the trades with Joe Bertocchi of Joe's Plumbing, Inc. Joe, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, man.
And tell us real quick about Joe's Plumbing.
Like I tell people, Joe the plumber, when you gotta go, just call Joe. When you flush, think of us. And if your drains are leaking and they got you freaking, give me a call.
Joe, that's a great intro. In talking about personal branding, Joe, how important is that in your business?
Oh, it's everything. Because somebody once said, people buy from someone who they like, know, and trust. And when you can be, soft sell. You can share a little bit with people, and they know who you are. You can educate them, and keeping the cost down. People like that.
And exactly. And you also, mentioned before we started rolling here. You're talking about plumbing. People kind of call you. It's like you're like one of those people that I don't want to have to call in a way, because that means something's probably wrong. But how do you keep it like loose and fun in an area where people don't really associate plumbing with being fun in a way, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you follow any marketer or brander on TV, whoever it is, I think the key word that people hear is free estimates. And when, we can get over, and help folks out, and you come to their place, take the edge off it. I saw so much hard selling, pressure selling. I was like, I'm just going to be me, and I want to go in there. I want to educate my client, and I want to keep the cost down. So that's why that's kind of like my in, with different, folks that need, my services.
And in talking about that, you kind of look at this personal brand as your top of funnel, where you need to acquire that customer, and you're not having to overpay in a way, online versus, just having a nice personality and being able to educate people. Because once you get into their homes, you might meet people like a really frantic moment when they're trying to get their pipes fixed, especially here in Chicago. We're getting ready on the Arctic season. It's not going to be a lot of fun here for a lot of your customers. Maybe more fun for you because you can go out there and do your stuff. But once you get into people's homes, how do you kind of treat that customer relationship? Because they're going to be going through something that they were not expecting, most likely.
Yeah, I said it to a gal yesterday. I was like, when I come into a place, I like to have a good long relationship with the client. I'm just not coming in there to make $500 or $1,000, something overcharged or crazy. I want to be their plumber for life, and I want to be someone that they like, know, and trust. And be honest with people. Educate them, keep the cost down. And when you do those couple of things right there, people are like, wow. I didn't know someone's like that. And I have a lot of experiences hearing things, and people are kind of on defense when you come into their house. So you kind of gotta put people just take the edge off, and that's what I like.
Excellent, Joe. And most of the time here on the podcast, we have people I've known for 5-10 years. I knew him for about 5 minutes after talking. I said, Joe, I want to have you on today because you bring a really interesting look at marketing, as a lot of people that are watching this are going to be in the marketing communications field. But just in terms of marketing the plumbing company, the trades, what do you do on a daily basis to get the word out there? Because you take a really unique approach of really utilizing your time to the max.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question right there too, Thatcher. I love connecting with people. I love to network. I get out and I work with Facebook. I work with LinkedIn. And I try to reach out to people a little bit. Sometimes, warm clients, sometimes cold clients. Through networking, I can really get to know people every Monday morning. We've got a little networking group, and just other great networking groups here in Chicago.
And so when to dive a little bit deeper in that, when we're talking about Facebook, so you'll be in the van, you'll be on your way to the job, Chicago, inevitable. You're going to be in traffic most of the time. So talk us through your mindset there when you log on. What type of content are you putting out there by going on Facebook Live in these moments when you're literally in traffic?
Yeah, no, great question. I think that a lot of people in different parts of Chicago, have different plumbing issues. And I think it's a couple things. If it's something small, if it's something big in their house, basically they don't know who to call, they don't know who to talk to. And that's what I like to do. I like to keep the cost down, and I like to educate my clients. And I just, I get basically, what can I do today to, get a few different jobs coming through the door, and how I can help folks out.
And you've mentioned networking several times, and I want to transition into what you've built as a digital community that's translated into a real life community. But you have a Cup of Joe every morning. Your Facebook group has over 1,000 people, all local, mainly right now at this point, obviously Chicago-based business owners. But talk about how you kind of grew that organically and what it's kind of morphed into.
Okay, great question. It just started out, Thatcher. You're sitting down with a pad of paper there, and you've got a pen in front of you and a cup of coffee. I mean, that's basically how it started. I was at the Jefferson Park Blue Line one morning at Dunkin' Donuts, and I says, man, I got to get some contacts. I got to pay the rent. I got to, Joe the plumber's got to get moving here. But no, I started out there, and I had one of my good buddies, Johnny Victor, come out there. I said, John, let's just meet up for coffee. Let's just see how it goes. So you bring somebody next week, I'll bring somebody next week. 2 went to 4, 4 went to 8, 8 went to 16. Cup of Joe networking was up off the ground. Then about 3 to 4 weeks, it started booming. And we got so big, we had to move to another location. Right now we're at the Baker Square, 5220 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights, every Monday morning, 8 a.m. to 9:15.
So Joe, just to kind of transition here, talking about being able to drive more people into the trades. One of the big things out there right now, obviously, is kids going into college, coming out with way too much debt based even upon 5-10 years ago, and that numbers we're assuming is only going to go up. What can be done to drive more people into the trades, maybe at the junior high and high school level, so that they can get into this right away at 18, 19 years old versus going through college, deciding, hey, this really wasn't for me, but then they're saddled with that debt, and really get kids thinking about the trades earlier on.
Yeah. Wow. I wish we had, the trades, back in the day like they were, for me. But I think right now, Local 130, the Plumbers Union that I'm working with right now, Thatcher, 1340 West Washington Boulevard in the city by the United Center, they're offering great apprenticeship programs. And if they've got any questions, they can basically go right down to the front door. They can knock on the door at the apprentice office down there, and they can ask them, what do they have to do to qualify? If they get any questions, I'm more than willing to help out any young person out there that wants to get an apprenticeship down there. I'd love to be able to help them out. That's on the plumbing end. The electricians union is Local 134 here. The HVAC, I think, is 72 or 73 local. And again, just go down there, knock on the door. Hey, what do we got to do to get involved with the apprenticeship program?
So, Joe, you've obviously been able to build your business, build an online community, build a social media presence here. What's any other advice you can give for independent business owners like yourself maybe 3.5 years ago when you're just getting started?
Yeah, we kind of touched on them too, Thatcher. Number 1, network. Number 2, get some business cards. Find somebody, a graphic artist, and if they need somebody, I've got a graphic artist to help them. I could recommend someone. Get business cards, get a name tag. Look for a shop, a storage unit, put your tools, buy some tools, invest in yourself, I think is key. And once you do that, start doing a Google review. Get on there and say, hey, I'm going to invest myself and, go out and do good work. Be confident of your work. And when you do good work, customer service is key. Call people back. Hey, how did I do? Give me a 5-star rating if you can. If it's a 2-star, give me a 2-star anyway. But just be honest with people, educate people, and keep the cost down.
So, Joe, you mentioned the Cup of Joe networking group / events that you have every Monday morning.
Yeah.
What time and where can people attend those if they're in the Chicago area?
Yeah. First of all, we're up on the northwest side of the city. We're 5-10 minutes away from O'Hare Airport. Cup of Joe Networking is located at 5220 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. 3 blocks north of the Hip Mall up on the northwest side. And we meet basically at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock to 9:15, and we start at 8 o'clock. And we'd like the people to come in. If you've never been at a Cup of Joe before, we want you to order a coffee, a tea, or maybe a breakfast. You don't have to, but take care of the servers up there, put a little tip on there. We want you to loosen up 10 to 15 minutes, and we want you to come in there, get to know your fellow networkers, fellow business owners. And we go from 8 a.m. to 9:15, and we do a 45-second pitch. Who are you? What do you do? And how can we help you as a community of networkers? And we got about 20, 30 people there right now. It's a great place to go. Cup of Joe Networking, Facebook. Check us out.
Yeah, I'll drop that link here below us. And we appreciate everybody checking out this episode of the Taste Media Group Intelligence Series. Stay tuned for more interviews coming up next week.